Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome to the webinar of BUP Environment Club of MESM 21 Base. I am Abdul Halim, a student of 21 Base. Today we are going to talk about wetlands and how they function within our evolving ecosystem. My guest today is Mr. Denar. Mr. Denar is an infrastructure development specialist in the Bangladesh Urban Resilience Project implemented by Rajuk, and he is also the student of 21 Base. Welcome, Mr. Denar, and then you for joining us on webinar.
Thank you, Mr. Halim, for inviting me on today's session.
Would you please give us a sense of the scope and scale of what wetlands actually are?
Sure. Well, the simplest definition I'd like to give for wetlands are the areas where water covers the soil or present either at or near the surface of the soil for all year or for varying period of time during the year, including during the growing season. Although wetlands are often wet, a wetland might not be wet year-round. In fact, some of the most important wetlands are only seasonally wet. Wetlands are the link between the land and the water. The transition zones where the flow of water, the cycling of nutrients, and the energy of sun meet to produce a unique ecosystem characterized by hydrology, soil, and vegetation, which is making these areas very important features of a watershed.
Do you think all wetlands are the same?
Each ecosystem differs due to variations in soils, landscape, climate, water regime, chemistry, vegetation, and human disturbance. The major type of wetland found in our world organized into four general categories, which are marshes, swamp, bogs, and fens. With respect to Bangladesh, wetland can be classified into three categories, which are saltwater wetland, man-made wetland, and freshwater wetland.
What are the functions or services and benefits of wetlands?
Well, wetlands are among the most productive ecosystems in the world, comparable to rainforests and coral reefs. They provide great volume of food that attract many animal species. They form the base of the food web and feed many species of fish, amphibians, shellfish, and insects. Wetlands provide wildlife habitats. Many species of bird and mammal rely on wetlands for food, water, and shelter, especially during migration and breeding. They reduce flood and storm damage, also regulate water levels in the watershed. They protect terrestrial areas adjoining them from storms, floods, and tidal damage. Plants in wetlands help to filter pollutants in the water. Wetlands provide an excellent example of invasion, modification, and succession.
Well, let's talk about wetlands in terms of the different part of the country. Give us a little description of the wetlands in Bangladesh.
Bangladesh possesses enormous area of wetlands, including river and streams, freshwater lakes and marshes, haors, bowers, bills, water storage reservoir, fish ponds, flooded cultivated fields, and estuarine systems with extensive mangrove swamp. The total area of wetland in Bangladesh has been variously estimated at 7 to 8 million hectares. That is about 50% of the total land surface. This amount can be impressive.
What is restoration? Is there any example of restoration at our country?
Restoration is the return of a degraded wetland or former wetland to its pre-existing naturally functioning condition or a condition as close to that as possible. It is a complex process that requires expertise, resources, and commitment from many different stakeholders. Ideally, a successfully restored wetland will mimic the functions of a healthy natural wetland. Hathirjil Lake is the best example of restoration in our country. Before 2009, Hathirjil had been the biggest unused water body situated right in the middle of the city. It was a slum area that has been proposed to restored into a recreation area as well as an alternate way to ease traffic congestion. Then Engineering Corps of Bangladesh Army was deployed to implement this proposal. After completion, Hathizil is now considered by many to be one of the most notable places in Dhaka and hence turned into one of the most favorite recreational places for the city dwellers and tourists. At night, lights of different hues illuminate the entire Hathizil, especially on the bridges. The area has been decorated with flowering shrubs and trees. Numerous tourists and pedestrians visit the site every evening to enjoy the reflection of light and the fresh air. It has also been renovated as a traffic hub where a water taxi service has been in place from Gulshan to Dhanmondi. Developed country has already proved that the water taxi service can be quite profitable with proper implementation. Therefore, considering Hathizil as a piloting, Bangladesh Inland Water Transport Corporation BIWTC is also going to introduce a 16-kilometer long water taxi service between Sadarghat and Gaptuli.
Thanks a lot for participating in our webinar. We hope the student of 22 batch will be benefited by these discussions.
Thanks once again for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this online session.